Okay, picture this. It's the dawn of the electric age, and three of the most brilliant minds in history, we're talking Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, and George Westinghouse, are locked in this high-stakes war. Now, this wasn't a war with bullets and cannons, but with watts and volts. It was a brutal battle of ideas, sheer ambition, and some pretty ruthless tactics that would literally decide the electrical standard that we all still use every single day. And that right there, that was the personal mantra of Thomas Edison. You know him, the Wizard of Menlo Park, the celebrated genius who gave us the phonograph and the light bulb. His whole philosophy was simple. You just had to outwork everyone. Tireless, relentless grinding, that was the real key to success. Because this whole story, it's not just some dry, technical debate. No, this is a deeply personal fight between two incredible inventors, with a powerhouse industrialist caught right in the middle of it all. It's a clash of titans. So on one side, you have Thomas Edison, and he is championing his system, direct current, or DC. And on the other side, you've got the visionary Nikola Tesla with his completely revolutionary idea, alternating current, or AC. So the real problem here, the big one, was distance. Edison's DC, you can think of it like a river just flowing in one direction. It worked fine, sure, but you couldn't send it very far without it losing a ton of power. Now, this actually kind of suited Edison's business model, which was all about building a power station in every single neighborhood, but it meant using these incredibly thick, incredibly expensive copper cables. Tesla's AC, though, it could change its voltage, and that was its superpower. And this whole rivalry, it really kicked off with a personal betrayal. See, Tesla, this brilliant Serbian engineer, he actually worked for Edison at first. And after completely redesigning Edison's entire system of DC generators, he went to collect the bonus he was promised, a bonus worth over $1 million today. And Edison, he just laughed it off, called it American humor. Tesla, totally insulted and realizing their visions were just never going to line up, walked right out the door. And you can bet he was holding on to a deep resentment. You see, AC's secret weapon was this amazing device called the transformer. This little thing let you build power plants way out in the middle of nowhere. You could step up the voltage to an incredibly high level, send it hundreds of miles over cheap, thin wires, and then, right before it got to your house, another transformer would step it down to a safe, usable level. DC just had no answer for this. This one piece of tech made AC so much more efficient and so much cheaper. It was a game changer. So Edison could see his entire DC empire was under threat, and he figured if he couldn't win on technical merit or on cost, well, he would win by turning the public against his rivals' tech. He launched one of the most aggressive and frankly one of the most brutal marketing campaigns in history. And believe me, this wasn't just him posturing for the public. In his private letters, Edison was blunt. Now, George Westinghouse, he was a major inventor and industrialist who had bought up all of Tesla's patents and was busy building an AC empire. Edison was absolutely determined to paint him and his entire AC system as a deadly public menace. And then a series of just awful, tragic accidents in New York City gave Edison all the ammunition he needed. The city's skies back then were this tangled, chaotic mess of wires. And when high-voltage AC lines were involved in a few deaths, the newspapers went into a total frenzy. The death-by-wire panic had begun, and you better believe Edison's team was ready to exploit it for everything it was worth. Edison found his perfect frontman in an engineer named Harold P. Brown. Brown started this public crusade, holding these gruesome, horrifying demonstrations where he would publicly electrocute animals with AC, all to scare the public. And while he claimed he was just some independent guy worried about safety, letters later proved he was secretly working with and getting money from Edison's company the whole time. And this is where the smear campaign takes its darkest, most cynical turn. New York State happened to be looking for a more humane way to execute people than hanging, and Edison's team saw a golden, if truly grim, opportunity. The whole plot was just chillingly simple. Harold Brown, Edison's secret weapon, he gets himself hired as an expert consultant and convinces the state that AC is the absolute deadliest current, perfect for an electric chair. Then, Edison's people work behind the scenes to make sure that the chair is powered by a generator from their #1 rival, Westinghouse. Their ultimate goal? To make the very act of execution synonymous with their competitor's name. They literally suggested that killing someone in the electric chair should be called getting Westinghoused. Just think about that for a second. But the whole disgusting plan backfired. The first execution was just a grotesque, horrific spectacle. The technicians totally misjudged the voltage, and the poor man didn't die after the first jolt. They had to do it again, basically torturing him. It was anything but humane, leading George Westinghouse to make that famously grim remark. The whole thing was a PR disaster for absolutely everyone involved.
But, despite the fear campaign, the basic advantages of AC, how efficient and cheap it was, were just undeniable. You can't fight superior technology forever. And the perfect stage to prove it to the entire world was right around the corner.
Okay, so the 1893 Chicago World's Fair wanted to be this dazzling, glowing city of light. Both General Electric, which is what Edison's company had become, and Westinghouse put in bids for this massive contract. And really, the numbers tell the whole story. Westinghouse, using his super-efficient AC system, came in with a bid that was just dramatically lower. He won the contract, easy.
For millions and millions of visitors, the World's Fair was the first time they had ever seen large-scale electric light. And what they saw was this brilliant, beautiful city, powered safely and reliably by Tesla's AC technology. It was this stunning demonstration that just completely wiped out Edison's campaign of fear. The world was convinced AC was the future.
The final, decisive blow came later that same year. Westinghouse won the contract to harness the incredible power of Niagara Falls. This massive project was only possible because of Tesla's truly revolutionary polyphase AC system, which was what you needed to generate and transmit these huge amounts of power. The War of the Currents was basically over. AC had won.
So what happened to the giants who fought this war? Well, the outcome for each of them was just as complex and dramatic as the fight itself.
So Edison, he lost the battle, but his company, General Electric, guess what? It quickly adopted AC and became an industrial titan. Westinghouse won, but the fight took a massive financial toll and nearly broke him. And Nikola Tesla, in this incredible act of loyalty when Westinghouse was on the verge of total collapse, Tesla tore up his royalty contract, a contract potentially worth a fortune, just to save the company that had backed his vision. He saved AC, but he sacrificed his own financial future, and he ended up dying in relative poverty. Years later, long after the war was over, Edison apparently offered this quiet little admission. Speaking to the son of an early AC pioneer, he finally acknowledged that the system he had fought so hard to destroy was, in fact, the better one. When you look at this whole story, it just proves that the path of innovation is rarely a straight line. It's often this brutal fight, shaped as much by personality, by propaganda, and by business tactics, as it is by pure science. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we look at the big tech battles of our own time, how many best ideas might be losing out right now, and for all the wrong reasons?